Yay! Retirement. I've done my time in the working world and now I can finally sit back, relax, and enjoy the fruits of all those years of labor. I can do whatever I want. But what's that going to be? Well, so you stick around and find out. Hi. I'm here to discuss the issues many of us have at retirement age. My name is Bob, and I'm the Crusty Creator. So, before we go too far, a little bit about me, but just a tiny bit. I'm technically a boomer, but I was born in the late 50s, just missed the cutoff. So that means that I more closely identify with Gen X. If you've ever seen that 70s show, that's me and my teenage friends in somebody's basement. I won't go into details about those days, even if the statute of limitations has expired. So I'm transitioning into retirement, although I still work part-time. And for those of you who are interested, I still play music occasionally on the weekends, although not nearly as much as I did before COVID. But this is about retirement, not about me. So I remember when my dad retired. He was ex-military, and then he went from the military into the civil service. And when he finally took his retirement, it was hard on him. He'd been an active and intellectual fellow all of his life. And that downshift into retirement was not good for him. Like it's not good for lots of people who, the downshift is awful. He couldn't sit in front of the TV in a lazy boy. That was it. He had to do something. So what Dad did was he bought himself a 35 millimeter camera and took a photography course. He was all over that for months. Enjoyed photography for years after that. Was great. One year he decided to occupy his springtime by making maple syrup. The property that our family house was on had some maple trees on it and a fair-sized bit of property. So Dad had the local John Deere guy who was a welder make him a stainless steel boiling pan. Dad tapped the trees, and he'd be out in the backyard in February and March, boiling that sap down to maple syrup, and boy, it was good. Not only that, my mom was always thinking of little things for him to do. Finish the basement, add a bathroom down there, build a porch on the back of the house. Screen that porch in, expand that porch, that kind of stuff. She would always give him stuff to do to keep him busy. And even into his 80s, he was always still game to come over and help me with my projects in my house. He liked to be busy. And like many in this stage of life, I have so much extra time on my hands and I have no idea what to do with it. I'm sure my friends can figure out what I can do with my time, but I can't think of it. I don't have a garden like my maternal grandfather had. I don't fish. I don't hunt. I'm not into pottery. I'm a basic cook at best. And as you can see, I'm not particularly athletic. My arthritic knee really doesn't like hiking. My dance moves are atrocious. In fact, if you've ever been to a wedding and seen that one drunk uncle on the dance floor, that's what my moves look like. But at the same time, I'm not ready for shuffleboard and canasta at the old folks' home, So for me, I decided to build a YouTube channel. And I'll cover that in another video. But what else is there to do for those of us who don't want to do that? Well, here are 10 ideas. Adopt a pet. Those cute and furry little friends are great for companionship and entertainment. People love dogs. People love all kinds of animals. I'm a cat person. I've had many cats over my years. And currently I have 2. George, who is a Tux cat, and Piper is a calico. My grandfather, who was born in Sheffield, England in the late 1800s, used to say that a house is not a home without a moggy. A moggy being a Sheffield colloquialism for kitty. But don't forget the expenses you have with an animal, any animal, cat, dog, chihuahua, I guess that's a dog too. I meant tarantula. There are vet bills. There are, vaccinations. There are spay neuters if you do that. And heaven forbid, be careful of emergencies because they can wipe you out. You can learn an instrument. They say that playing an instrument keeps your brain active. It's good for your brain, and it's good for keeping your fingers moving. So that's good. I mean, it may stave off arthritis for a bit. I suggest ukulele or guitar, or if you're really ambitious, you could try the piano. They do say that no other instrument stimulates your brain. Like, excuse me, there's something falling off my table. No other instrument stimulates your brain and in so many different places than a piano. So that's something worth. And the other advantage is it won't turn your fingers into hamburger like learning how to play the guitar would. Hand drumming is also something that some people do. Some municipalities have somebody who does like a drum circle or something, and they'll even supply the little drums. You can get all that frustration out so you don't take it out on your grandkids. But if you already play, or if you like to sing, why not do it in a group? So that's another suggestion. Join a group or a choir. You can relive your youth playing Moni Moni and Satisfaction with a bunch of other geezers like I do. Or get your jazz on with a community big band, or perform, choral music, or join the church choir. Many of the advantages that apply to learning a musical instrument in terms of what it'll do for your brain also apply to this. It's also a great social opportunity. So just bear in mind, local music stores and even your church, if you attend one, might be a good place to network and find leads. Some people find taking up gardening was relaxing, and like my grandfather, they take pride in their roses and gladiolas. Other people prefer to grow their own veggies. In this world, it might not be a bad idea. If you have a good back and knees, maybe gardening's for you. Although if you live in an apartment, your gardening options might be limited to a window box. Why does George Carlin come to mind when I say that? You can take up photography like my dad did. And I know that in my late teens and early 20s, I was into photography myself. I had a dark room. I shot in black and white. I had a bunch of those little 110 Instamatics, and later graduated to a 35 millimeter Konica. And eventually that died in me, but these days, I think it's a bit of a lost art. We've got digital cameras now and Photoshop. You don't have to do your stuff in the dark room. You can take, 17,000 pictures to get the right one, where back in the day you had to think about composition right from the get-go. And you can't just delete the ones that you didn't like. You had to develop the whole roll. So there's it. But, there's an adventure aspect to that too. You can go to the really cool places to get that awesome shot. And you can go out with a bunch of people to do that. Not to mention the mental challenge you get from learning your new camera and learning how to use Photoshop. That's great stimulation. If you're not exactly Martha Stewart, but you're tired of eating macaroni and cheese and whatever other frozen delicacy you can nuke, then try a cooking class. There are a lot of them available in social centers. Some cities in their parks and recreation will have it. Again, these are great places to meet people and socialize, and you can learn how to build, you can learn how to make great food, healthy food, and nourish your body properly. Now, here's another one. Travel. Now, this is contentious for me because I know that travel is expensive, and sometimes these days it's dangerous. Fuel costs are through the roof, and I have a funny feeling they're only going to get worse. So whether you drive or take a train or you fly, you're going to be paying for fuel. But whether you go across the country or around the world, you get to learn a bunch of new things. You get to see a bunch of new sights. You get to learn new cultures. And and totally immerse yourself in it. Travel is awesome if you can afford to do it. Advocating and volunteering. Some of us have causes that we are really, really, really passionate about. And we want to feel like we're contributing, and we want to do something to give back to the community. So yeah, volunteer for something, make a difference, feel good about yourself. Join a gym, get some exercise. It's great for your health. It's great for your self-esteem. I could stand to lose some weight. But when we do that as older people, remember that we also lose muscle mass. So if you're going to go eating better and losing weight and getting back into shape, you have to remember to do some weight training. Not so much to bulk up and become Arnold Schwarzenegger, but to make sure that you don't lose the muscle mass that you already have. We are on the downside, right? We're playing the back nine now. So we got to take care of ourselves. And finally, walk around your neighborhood. You've seen your neighbors out in the thing, but have you ever taken the time to introduce yourself and talk to them? Maybe you'll make some new friends. And it sure is helpful if you have somebody you can turn to if you need help. Anyway, I hope that gives you some inspiration of things, or some of the things that you can do. I'm sure that your Parks and Recreation organizations will have something for you. I'm sure that your church or other social things that you do are great. Go to the gym, go to the pool. Just keep yourself active, keep yourself thinking, keep yourself moving. Anyway, I hope that gives you some inspiration. Let me know in the comments below what are the things you'd like to do to occupy your time. I look forward to your input, and as always, please keep it respectful and civil. There's a link below if you want to buy me a coffee, if you feel moved to do that. And if you like what you see, as always, like and subscribe. Here's a link to something else you might enjoy. Thanks for watching.